Listen to The Barry Morgan Show. Live weekdays noon to 3 on CJAD 800 and CJAD.com.
1:36 CJAD time. My name is Barry. That's Robin right over there with Sarah as well. They put the entire show together. Coming up in a little bit more than an hour. True or false, Steely Dan tickets, Charles Aznavour tickets to win as well. How it works is you qualify, you'll try to qualify to win tickets to see Steely Dan in Montreal. And if you do qualify today or tomorrow, because still a couple of days left in the week, of course, you automatically walk away with the tickets to see Charles Aznavour, who's performing at the Bell Center. Right now, well, last half hour we were talking wedding proposals and so forth. Right now we're talking dating with an honest-to-goodness certified matchmaker and relationship consultant. Her name is Natacha Noel. She's from Montreal. She's in studio with me right now. And Natacha, great to meet you. Thanks for being here.
Well, thank you so much for having me, Brian.
Barry, but that's okay.
Oh.
First rule in dating and being on a show, know the person's name, right? Is that probably... Okay, that's just me, though. How long have you been doing this?
I've been matchmaking since 2008. I used to work for another company, and I opened Absolute Bachelor Club in 2013.
And how does one become a matchmaker?
Well, you can get certified through the Matchmaking Institute. That's one avenue.
There's a real institute.
Absolutely. It's based in New York City.
Okay.
I highly recommend it. But you don't necessarily have to go that route either. So if you feel you have that gift to match people, you can definitely open a business and start.
And this is something you felt, I guess, you've had in you for, I guess, probably since you were a young girl or something like that. Maybe just an idea of how to make people, get together, or...
It came to me much later than that. I used to write a column in a magazine, and I was taking care of the love dating column. I also hosted a sex show back in 2007, and it came naturally to me.
Terrific. So what do they actually teach you, though? I'm just really curious. Before we get into some of your tips and so forth and the whole DNA thing, because there's, now matchmakers using DNA to hook people up. But I'm just curious, like course-wise, like what do they actually teach you?
We speak of integrity, of the importance of human relationships, dignity of the person, competence as a matchmaker. There's a code of ethics that we abide by as well. We're really professionals, and we value human beings.
That's terrific. So I know that you have some talking points in terms of what is right, what is wrong to do as a matchmaker. How many couples have you set up, by the way?
I don't know if we can count them.
Too many to count?
Too many to count.
That's great.
Too many interviews, too many, but...
Must feel really good to know that you got people together.
Absolutely. It's the best feeling. So
when people come up to you, Natacha, so they'll say, okay, listen, I'm looking for a husband, I'm looking for a wife, whatever, I'm looking for a life partner. What do you have them do? They fill out a form, I suppose, give you some basic information about themselves, some what their likes, their dislikes, things like that?
Yes, we go through a 2-hour screening. We will go through the character traits, personality traits that they are looking for. We'll talk about the physical as well. We'll do some background and talk about their upbringing as well. How was their father like, their father's character, mom's character,
oh, is that right?
Siblings. We'll look at everything. We'll take a look at past relationships as well. And if there are patterns to break, we'll take a look at that as well. We really cover everything from values, lifestyle, economics, salary, activities, interests, and we cover everything.
You dig really deep, obviously.
Yes.
What do you think of some people, and, it happens all the time, and I can't blame anybody. They go, I don't know if you've ever been involved in speed dating or things like that, but, somebody sees somebody and they kind of reject them out of hand within a couple of minutes without really giving that person a chance, right? I'm sure you hear that story all the time.
Correct. It happens online. It happens even with matches. I'll propose a profile to a client, and then they will not give that person a chance. I recommend going out with someone 2 to 3 times before determining that this person is not going to be a fit for them.
Like to really have an open mind, right?
Yes.
But it's a challenge, isn't it? I mean, a lot is based on looks, and I don't blame people. That's what makes the initial attraction, I guess, just what a person looks like. So how do you think people are a little more open-minded, maybe when they come to see a matchmaker?
I think that what they really want is to meet someone who's compatible, but you are right in that the chemistry will too often take over, and they will concentrate on that and miss out on a great person.
Okay. Ethics in bars, the rules to follow. Tell me about that.
My big thing is that if a woman accepts a drink, she should at least give the man some time to have that conversation. That was his opening line. That was his way to approach.
Yeah.
So I don't believe in taking drinks and brushing people off. The other thing is for men, for example...
I could have saved a lot of money, in other words. Yeah. Do you see that a lot, though? Like women, I don't go to bars much anymore, to be honest with you, but it happens frequently where somebody will buy a drink for a woman and she'll accept the drink, but not so much the conversation.
Absolutely. Women love to get a free drink, get a free dinner, but that's not right. You should have a good bar etiquette.
So play fair.
Play fair. I like that.
Okay, that's fair enough. That's fair enough. And what about the reverse? Like if a woman tries to, I guess if a guy somebody's having a drink, a woman buying a drink for a man, I think he'd be pretty open to talking to that woman.
Yeah, in the bar, it's not so common, but if let's say you're in a line at your favorite coffee shop and then you see a guy that's interesting, maybe you can, give the cashier your card and pay for that coffee of his. Mm-hmm. And then if he says, whoa, what's this all about? Well, you can always tell them that they can pay you back by having a conversation with you and sit down.
Do you find that more people, though, are going towards like either a matchmaker like yourself or simply going online on all the, so many dating sites now these days online? And what percentage of people are still actually going to a bar to try to hook up? Like bars they've been hurt for a lot of reasons. You can't smoke in a bar anymore. People can go online and find their future spouses. Do you think most people are ignoring the bar scene and prefer to either go through a matchmaker or to find somebody online?
I think it's a good mix. People are definitely going online a lot. Bars, let's make that a general term for terraces,
sure,
restaurants. Yes, people are definitely going out, especially in the summertime. And then the matchmaking is it's a great way. It's a shortcut to get to a person that's compatible, that's looking for the same thing that you are, instead of vetting yourself, instead of just meeting and then finding out a few weeks later that this person is not looking for the same thing that you are.
Yeah, at least going in, they have similar interests, maybe a common background, maybe they do want to get married, and that going in, so right away you have some commonalities there, so you could strike up a conversation, which certainly helps. Doesn't guarantee it, of course, but let me ask you this. Somebody comes up to you and says, how can I approach someone and get their interest? What would you tell them?
I would say that you've got to use your eyes. You've got to smile, you've got to keep your head up, and then you have to say something, like if you're going to flirt, and you should flirt, use the moment, notice something about them, tell them that they've got a great sense of style, tell them that they've got a great pair of shoes, or mention something about them. And now when you want to keep someone's interest, here's the big money tip for the day. Mm-hmm. What you want to do is listen very carefully to them. You don't want to interrupt them. And you want to say a lot of, oh, really? Wow. And,
pretend you're interested is what you're saying.
Well, not pretend. I mean, you're really listening, because what you're going to do after,
of course.
You're going to paraphrase them. You're going to repeat what they said exactly. So if they told you, well, I had such a long day at work. I had to go to one meeting and then I had to commute to go meet my client somewhere else. Then maybe you want to repeat that and say, oh, wow, you had such a hard day today. Did you even have time to break for lunch?
Show that you're listening, that you're really actually paying attention.
And that's going to keep them interested.
Yeah, that makes sense to me. Time is 1:48 here on CJAD exactly. In other words, 12 minutes away from the news with Richard Deschamps. This is the Barry Morgan Show on CJAD with Sarah Day and Robin Flynn. And my guest in studio right now is Natacha Noel, matchmaker here in Montreal. And I think you provided already some people with some pretty good tips, Natacha. But I've got to ask you about this now. DNA, a new compatibility indicator. So what do you do with two people sitting down and you're wondering, okay, are they compatible? So what do you, like, swab their cheek? And then we kind of joked about that earlier.
Okay, so I have partnered with Instant Chemistry.
Okay.
And they do a DNA test for biological compatibility.
Biological compatibility.
Yes.
All right.
We used to say, the old cliche, opposites attract. Well, in matchmaking, it isn't true. Okay, if you're two opposites, you're going to have a pretty dysfunctional relationship. That being said, today I'm very excited to say that opposites can and will attract, and that the more different you are biologically, the higher likelihood of a long-term relationship you will have.
Hang on, the more different you are biologically, the greater?
The greater.
Really? How come?
The attraction.
How come?
There was a study that was conducted in 1995. It was also called the Sweaty T-shirt study.
Okay.
Where a scientist tested 49 women and 44 men and asked the 44 men to wear a sweaty T-shirt, to wear their T-shirt for 2 nights.
Okay.
So no perfume, no detergents. They weren't allowed to have sex.
I don't doubt it.
And the women got nasal spray to make sure that they didn't get any infection.
Okay.
And then after, the women were asked to smell 2 sets of 3 T-shirts.
All right.
And they had to rate those T-shirts for sexiness. And what came out, they also rated the T-shirts for pleasantness. And also they were asked to give ratings to see which they were more attracted to.
Okay.
The results were that the more genetically different they were, the more attracted they were to the T-shirt.
Is that interesting?
Mm-hmm.
Huh.
So many other studies have been conducted over the last 20 years, and now Instant Chemistry, based out of Toronto, is now offering a little swab test. So you swab your cheek, and then you send that back to the lab, and within 1 to 2 weeks, you'll get your results. Now, you wouldn't want to do that if you're already in an existing relationship. There's no real use to getting the result that you're not biologically
That's all you need is confirmation that you're not compatible with your spouse. Yeah, okay.
Right.
Scientific confirmation.
Right. But for myself as a matchmaker, if I've got this information ahead of time, you have to understand that this is what we've been discussing, is that clients come in looking for that chemistry.
That's true.
And this will give them more likelihood of having more satisfying sex, healthier children, and also higher pregnancy rates.
So what does the DNA actually tell you, and how do you use that to match that person with somebody else?
They have an algorithm. But the DNA, there's a cluster of genes which make up part of our immune system.
Okay.
And what it says is, what happens is we subconsciously detect another person's HLA genes through their scent. And HLA is human leukocyte antigen. Okay. So that's basically the gist of it. And
just another tool, I guess, in the shed.
That is exactly it. Because I couldn't match solely on lifestyle, solely on desire to have a family, and so here I have an extra tool to give satisfaction to my clients.
Very interesting. I think Robin has a question for you.
Yes.
Go ahead, Robin.
Yeah, actually, I was just thinking about sometimes, you're nervous and you're sitting in a bar maybe and you're trying to strike up a conversation with somebody. And sometimes maybe you come across as too friendly, friend being the specific word. If you start dropping words like, hey, dude, or you try and talk about sports, whatever, how do you make it clear that you have interest, but without, right out saying, hi, I'm interested in you? You don't want to be creepy. You know what I mean?
The trick is to look for signs that you're sitting down in a bar and you're having a conversation. You want to let them know that you'd like to pursue this further.
Romantically. That you're not just coming across as looking for somebody to be a friend.
You don't want to be in the friend zone.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right. If a few minutes have gone through, for example, 20 minutes of talking, and if you have a business card, for example, you could give them your business card. You could tell them that you'd be interested in pursuing this further. I think you should be straight about it, and tell them that you're really having and enjoying your time and that you'd like to speak to them again. And you shouldn't be afraid of the rejection. That's the bottom line.
Cool.
Because your competition is yourself. It's not the next girl, the other prettier girl. It is you. Are you going to take that chance and open your heart and let them know that you want to take this further?
I'm sure people, Natasha, come up to you all the time and say, where should I look to find a soulmate? As if it's such an easy question to answer. I
think people should look everywhere. For example, if you have a dog, you can go to the dog park. I think that's a great one.
Talk about having a common interest right there.
That's
correct.
That's
a great idea. Yeah, go to a dog park.
If you're traveling, I have to say that I love the airport. Business professionals are traveling. You want to go to the seat that's next to someone. Don't look for that row where it's completely empty, because really you're looking to strike a conversation with someone. Another good one.
I do, and I usually get slapped, but that's different for everybody. It's different. Look, some people just don't want to be approached, right? You don't know the person you're talking to might be married. They might not wear a ring, but they might be married to somebody, right? It's a tricky business. Let's put it that way. But I like the dog park thing. That's a very clever one. And I think a question that some people have as well, and I don't know if it's regardless of age, when do they call back after the first date? Should they call the next day? Should they call the day? I keep thinking of like a Seinfeld episode where George doesn't want to call for like a month and a half because he doesn't want to look too anxious, right? But then Elaine tells him, no, if she likes you, she likes you. She wants you to call like the next day. Well, how do I know she like the whole thing, right? So there's no hard, fast rules here, I guess. But as a woman yourself, you want to get that call the next day, I would imagine.
Yes. As a woman, you hope that he calls the next day, but you can text and say thank you the same day, especially if the evening ended late. You want to text thank you.
See, I forgot about the texting thing.
Yes.
Because texting only has come out since I've been married, so I forgot completely. There's all these new ways of texting. Yeah, of course.
And the phone shows interest. You don't want to be on the text. You don't want to be texting that much. Yeah. So definitely a phone call the next day. Don't play any games. Let them know that you're interested. A lot of the times, even in my industry, my own clients will forget or will not ask for that second date on the first date, which I tell them to. And then they call me and then they tell me, was she interested? And so there's fear again. So have no fear and let the other person know that you think they're exciting.
Confidence.
Yes.
But it's tough. I mean, look, so many people they're going out on dates and for whatever reason, they just can't get somebody, and then that just keeps on eating away at the confidence. So it's like exactly what you want them to have is kind of like the supply's dwindling, if you get my drift. Mm-hmm. So where do you get? How do you pick somebody up when they really don't feel that confident as a matchmaker?
How can you rephrase that, please?
How can you, like, if somebody's not a very confident person, so you're the matchmaker, how do you get them to feel a little more confident, a little more secure in themselves, to be more, not aggressive, but to be just, feel good about themselves in terms of asking somebody out?
Yes. I would tell them to prepare for the date. Are we talking about when I've matched them?
Yeah.
Definitely, they want to prepare. You want to know who you're going to meet. You want to have interesting questions for them. So whether you've met someone online, whether it's through a matchmaker, you should do some research, and that's going to give you the confidence that you need. Somebody just texted, Robin, will you marry me? Do you want their phone number?
Oh, that's so sweet.
Robin has a boyfriend. So, you know what? That is sweet.
Yeah, I'll get you the number.
Okay, sounds good.
I don't want to be a home wrecker or anything like that, but so I shouldn't text this person back yet, yeah?
No.
Okay, I'll say, well, she's thinking about it. She's thinking about it. Hey, Natasha, listen, thank you very much. It was a pleasure to meet you, and very interesting, especially that whole DNA thing. Wow, very, very cool. Natacha Noel, Montreal matchmaker, founder of the Absolute Bachelor Club. If somebody wants to get in touch with you, what would you suggest?
www.absolutebachelorclub.com, and we have Frank Kermit's giving a workshop on July 23rd. It's his emotional needs theory. So
we're big fans of Frank.
To see you there.
We like Frank a lot. So www.absolutebachelorclub.com. Thanks a lot, Natasha.
Thank you, Barry.
All the best.
News Talk Radio, CJAD 800, CJAD.com.
Need help with love, sex, dating and relationships? Visit franktalks.com.
If you need help with your relationships, my buddy Frank, he's got some tips. Just go to franktalks.com. His advice is better than your mom's. He knows what you're going through, 'cause Frank has been there too. So log on to franktalks.com. franktalks.com.
What do you do when you feel like a fool? When your heart has been broken again? Pick up the phone or get onto Skype and talk on a private session. Yeah, get a little help from Frank Talks. Whoa, whoa, get by with a little help from Frank Talks. You gotta try a little help from Frank Talks. What do you do when your love goes away? Try coaching one-on-one. How do I sign up to turn things around? Just sign up at franktalks.com.